Weak housing numbers coming out today, prompting many to ask, including at least four of us, is the American dream slipping away? Get this. New stats show that we've had the biggest drop in home ownership since the Great Depression, down to 65% in 2010. Kimberly,
this is sad.
It's not working. The Obama economic policy, this is the worst it's been since 1940.
It's really sad because that is the American dream. Everybody wants to be able to own a home, provide for their family. So when these numbers came out, it really was disconcerting. So much to the point that they're actually agreeing. You have Biden and Obama actually agreeing that we're in a bad situation. They can't avoid it. They can't blame it on Bush. I mean, these numbers go all the way back to '94. So someone has to step forward with some ideas to turn it around.
Back to '94 is right. By the way, I think the way they count this is the number of vacant homes that are out there. There was an abundance of homes built. They shouldn't have been built. There's a lot of people not in homes.
No. It's not vacancies.
But 65% of the American people have homes. They're in homes, right?
And Bob, unfortunately, blacks were hit the hardest. 44% of the black population in America owns homes.
Because they were given loans they shouldn't have been given by bankers who shouldn't have given them, and you know why they gave
by the government.
By the government.
Fannie and Freddie.
I agree with you. They were endorsed by the government, but those loans should not have been given. They were bundled together and sold upstream as securities by who?
Bob,
your buddies in Wall Street.
I got to respond to this. If those loans weren't given, they would have been seen as discriminating against these potential buyers.
And
here's the proof of this. Now you're seeing a diminished role of Fannie and Freddie.
Right.
Decades spending these loans, now they're not. If that's not an admission of guilt, what is?
Discrimination is giving people a loan they cannot afford to pay.
I would agree with you.
That is
Hold on,
discrimination.
Andrea.
I agree.
Let's talk about this, though. When were all these loans given, and who, Bob, hold on, who were running Congress and the Senate at the time of the loans?
Right. The Democrats were in charge, and the Republicans called for, at the time, President Bush did a strong independent regulator in '06. Democrats, Dodd-Frank, said, no, we don't need this. They said, we don't need this. Barney Frank said, nope, everything's good to go. Yeah. Look, I agree with you, Bob. It was a very noble goal, but this is called the American dream for a reason. It's not the American right.
Or the
not
American handout.
And now, but let me finish. Now, the administration has made it so much worse for people to own a home. Even Barney Frank is coming out saying that these regulators and calling for 20% down when you really are
shouldn't be that high.
It shouldn't be that high. They are choking the mortgage industry. They've gone too far.
If we ran the tape of this segment, I said something that I thought for once Greg would agree with, and he.
You mean Eric?
Eric.
I'm Greg. I'm the little guy.
I said that giving loans to people who cannot afford them, minorities, whoever they are, is discrimination. And you immediately cut me off, but you agree with me, don't you?
That's not what you said, though. You said giving loans to people who couldn't afford them and then bundling them up the road.
It's discrimination if you don't do it, and it's discrimination if you do do it.
You can't win. It's not discrimination.
It's stupid, and it's what got us
It is not just against black people or brown people, and I'm going to be careful here. It is against people who are not qualified to have loans, and if the bankers knew that they were not going to be able to pay their bills, that is discriminatory.
You're right up until that point. Right there, you're right. But the problem, Kimberly, is that the bankers were told push the loans out the door.
Right. Absolutely.
Because they could sell them upstream.
But there's also a sense of, what about personal responsibility? Why is it always everybody else's fault? You have to understand, if you know your money, you know your finances, you know if you're going to be in over your head, so you can't sit there and always blame everyone else. You have to be responsible for your household, for your own personal investments, and make decisions based on that.
If you're told by bankers that they give you this scam deal about no % this year and 1%, they're complicated. Have you ever you must have signed a lot of loan documents, right, for a mortgage house. I never read them, because if you don't read them, you don't sign them, you don't get them, right? Now, the point is that a lot of these people did not know, and they signed things they were not aware of. Maybe they should have been, but they weren't.
I get it. Here's the thing. There's an opportunity here for somebody to write a book on how to live at home and date. Because right now, everybody who would normally buy homes are now moving back home with their parents, and a lot of them are single. How do you date when you're living at home? Somebody's got to write a book on, like, how to turn a window into a sliding door.
No.
That would be nice.
We know somebody like that,
I've been through this. You turn the dryer up really loud. Now, listen, Greg, can I move in?
Do you think that's a good point?
Yeah. No, I think it's a good point. I mean, look, there's more three-generation families under one roof than there's been since the Great Depression.
What does that tell you?
Which could be good for the family structure, but also what we're talking about with this housing crisis is going on with big education right now, too.
Wouldn't be good for my family
Cheap
structure.
credit, this administration is pushing out college loans. The same thing is happening.
Yep.
People aren't reading the paperwork, and they're getting in big debt.
No, the ones who are in trouble with that are the private, corporate, big education firms.
They can't declare bankruptcy on this, and there are no jobs to pay them back.
We got to leave it there. We got to leave it there. Coming up, you think the Occupy Wall Street protests we're seeing across the country seem a little staged. New reports showing that some protesters are being paid. Those details next on the 5-10
Good, there's jobs
today.